Imagine sitting in your cozy living room on a quiet evening in the 1920s. The family gathered around a big wooden radio set, its tubes glowing softly as voices and sounds filled the air like magic. Back then, radio wasn't just background noise. It was the heartbeat of entertainment, pulling people into worlds of laughter, adventure, and heartfelt tales without ever leaving home. Today, we're looking at 10 old radio programs from the 1920s that brought stories to life, turning simple broadcasts into unforgettable journeys that captured the spirit of the times. The Eveready Hour, where drama first lit up the airwaves, picture the early days of radio, when folks were just getting used to hearing voices from a box. The Eveready Hour kicked off in 1923, sponsored by the battery company to keep those radios running strong. It was one of the first big variety shows on national airwaves, mixing music with short dramatic sketches that felt like mini plays right in your parlor. What made it special was how it invited famous guests and used simple sound effects to make stories pop, like a door creaking or footsteps echoing, drawing listeners into tales of everyday heroes and far-off places. Sadly, it faded away by 1930 as sponsors shifted focus and newer shows with fancier productions took the spotlight. Sam and Henry, the daily laughs that started a trend in the bustling city of Chicago, two friends dreamed up something new in 1926 on station WGN. Sam and Henry followed the misadventures of two pals moving from the South to the big city, chasing better lives with plenty of mix-ups along the way. It was groundbreaking as the first daily radio serial, airing every evening like a chapter in a book, full of witty banter and relatable troubles that had families chuckling together. The charm came from its down-to-earth storytelling, painting pictures of friendship and city life with just voices and humor. It didn't last long under that name, though. By 1928, the creators switched stations and had to rename it because they couldn't keep the title, leading to its evolution into something even bigger. The Collier Hour. Magazine stories come alive as magazines like Collier's filled homes with exciting reads. Radio stepped in to make them heard in 1927 on the NBC Blue Network. This show adapted popular short stories from the pages, turning printed words into hour-long dramas with actors, music, and clever sound tricks. It stood out by bridging print and broadcast, letting folks see mysteries and romances through their ears, often with twists that kept everyone on the edge of their seats. The emotional pull came from real, life-inspired tales that felt personal and vivid. But by 1931, it wrapped up as the magazine changed direction and radio leaned toward faster paced serials that hooked listeners day after day. Amos and Andy, the show that stopped the nation building on an earlier hit. Amos and Andy burst onto the scene in 1928, going national and becoming a sensation almost overnight. It followed two friends running a taxi business in Harlem, weaving tales of schemes, friendships, and daily mishaps in 15-minute episodes. What made it special was the rich character voices and ongoing storylines that felt like peeking into real lives, drawing millions who would hush the house when it came on. The warmth and humor captured the era's spirit, making listeners feel part of the community. Over time, though, criticism grew over its portrayals, and as television rose in the 1950s, the show ended in 1960, marking the end of an era for radio comedies. True Story Hour, real-life tales on the radio drawing from the popular True Story magazine. This program debuted in 1928, sharing dramatized versions of readers' own confessions and experiences. Each episode turned anonymous letters into gripping narratives of love, heartbreak, and triumphs, acted out with heartfelt performances. It shone by making ordinary folks' stories feel epic and emotional, especially appealing to women who tuned in for the raw honesty and relatable twist. The magic was in how it blurred lines between fact and drama, pulling at heartstrings with simple soundscapes. It ran strong until 1939, but eventually lost ground to slicker soap operas and the shift to visual storytelling on TV. Empire Builders, Adventures in the American West, sponsored by the Great Northern Railway to promote travel. Empire Builders rolled out in 1929 with tales of pioneers and frontier life. Set against the backdrop of expanding railroads, each 30-minute episode delivered exciting dramas full of heroes, villains, and the rumble of train. What set it apart was the vivid sound effects, like whistling winds and galloping horses, that transported listeners to the Wild West without leaving their chairs. The stories celebrated American grit and exploration, stirring a sense of wonder in a changing world. Unfortunately, the Great Depression hit hard, and it chugged to a stop in 1931 as budgets tightened and sponsors pulled back. Mystery House, early chills and thrills out on the West Coast, a husband and wife team launched Mystery House in 1929, crafting weekly tales of suspense and intrigue for local stations. Drawing from classic whodunits, episodes built tension with clever plots, shadowy characters, and eerie noises that sent shivers down spines. It was special for pioneering the mystery genre on radio, keeping families guessing who the culprit was until the very end. The intimate, homegrown feel made it like a spooky story told around the fire. Though it lingered into the 1930s, national networks and the rise of TV mysteries overshadowed it, leading to its quiet fade. The Goldbergs, family life in the big city in the heart of New York. Gertrude Berg brought her own creation to life in 1929 on NBC, sharing the ups and downs of a Jewish immigrant family in the Bronx. The serial followed their daily joys and struggles, from kitchen chats to neighborhood dramas, all with warmth and gentle humor. What made it endearing was the authentic voices and life lessons woven in, reflecting the immigrant experience that many listeners knew firsthand. It felt like visiting old friends, full of heart and simple wisdom. The show adapted to TV in 1949, but wrapped up in 1956, as audiences moved to the screen and family stories evolved. The Adventures of Helen and Mary, fairy tales for kids aimed at young ears, this CBS gem started in 1929, dramatizing beloved fairy tales with a cast of child actors. Each Saturday episode whisked kids away to enchanted lands, complete with princes, witches, and happy endings told through lively voices and whimsical sounds. It sparkled by fueling imagination, letting little ones picture the magic in their minds during a time of simple pleasure. The joy came from its innocent storytelling that bonded families on weekends. Renamed Let's Pretend in 1934, it enchanted listeners until 1954, when TV cartoons stole the spotlight from radio wonder. Painted Dreams, the first soap opera, whispers as the decade closed. Erna Phillips pioneered daytime drama with Painted Dreams in 1930 on Chicago's WGN. though its roots traced back to late 1920s ideas. The serial centered on an Irish-American widow and her family unfolding slow, burn stories of romance, secrets, and home life. It was revolutionary for its ongoing emotional threads, designed for housewives to follow while doing chores. The pull was in the quiet intensity, mirroring real worries and hopes with subtle dialogue. It lasted until 1943, inspiring countless soaps, but radio's golden age dimmed as TV brought visuals to those same heartfelt tales. There you have it, 10 radio programs from the 1920s that turned airwaves into storybooks, reminding us how a simple broadcast could spark so much joy and wonder. If these tales took you back or made you smile, hit that like button, drop a comment about your favorite old-time memory, and subscribe for more trips down memory lane. Thanks for joining us on this rewind. See you next time.